I am so glad you asked. So, repatriation, in its formal definition, is the return of artifacts or remains to their people or homelands of origin. Hey, I'm back. Sorry, it's the next day. I got interrupted. But yes, my dad has worked in repatriation for over 40 years for our tribe. He has consulted on many projects all across the United States and around the world. He has done work in Japan as well. If you're the kind of person who likes to look things up, my dad's name is Bob Sam, and if you search his name in repatriation, you should be able to find a lot of his recent work. The Lost Alaskans project is one of the projects he's working on, and I am doing my best to amplify that. I have a whole section on my link page folks can go read. There's also a playlist of videos that folks can see the ceremony and the trip that I did to Oregon with him back earlier this spring. My dad spends, I want to say, most of his time studying the culture, but also being a graveyard caretaker. He has consulted on remains that have been found at boarding schools, at other sites, and he consults on how to respectfully identify them and bring them home to their families. He has also done this work for artifacts as well. Many times he has gone to museums and colleges to collect sacred items, ceremonial items, and brought them home, where they are studied by the tribe and the designs are taught to the artists again, and if it's safe to do so, the items will be used in ceremony again. Now, my dad isn't the only one that does this work anymore, but I just want to show you some of the items that were returned to my tribe recently. There's this staff being held by the clan leader. In 2017, many items were finally returned. And recently, a tunic was returned to my Dachloedi clan, which is an Eagle Killer Whale clan. In a lot of cases, many important ceremonies cannot be conducted without these items, and a lot of these ceremonies have not been able to happen for over 100 years because these items were stolen and kept in private collection, in museums, in colleges, and they are only just recently finally making their way home. For myself, I'm spending a lot more time with my dad, and I am learning what I can. I have been doing trips to visit him. I went to Sitka in Alaska to do a conference with him in September, and as I mentioned before, I did a trip to Oregon with him for a repatriation ceremony in the spring. There will be more trips for me to go and learn from my dad, and folks who support me on the various platforms. Shout out to Patreon. If folks want to join the Patreon, you guys make it possible for me to reconnect and for me to learn things like this from my dad.